My name is Garrett Sims, and we have a very special episode of Sports Timeout for you this week. I sat down with my sister, Samara Sims, who is a current Drury cheerleader and a former OHS cheerleader. Recently, she competed at Nationals in Orlando, Florida, so we got to talk to her a little bit about that, as well as her entire cheer career, and it was cool to sit down and do this podcast with my sister. I'm excited for you guys to listen to it, so with all that being said, let's get into the episode right now. My name is Garrett Sims. We have another exciting episode of Sports Timeout. Last week I said it was a secret, and that was because we're interviewing my sister, Samara Sims, who is a current cheerleader at Drury University and was a former OHS cheerleader. Samara, thank you for joining me today.
Hi, I'm excited to be here and share some of my experience at the collegiate level.
Just to get started, I wanted to kind of ask you, what got you into cheerleading, and how did your passion for the sport develop?
Well, at a very young age, when I was in daycare, we actually once a week used to go to this dance studio and we used to tumble. And it was stupid at the time, but it was the only thing that I really found interest in. And so when I got a little bit older, we looked at some gyms nearby, and I actually started tumbling just for fun and worked on that a lot. And then when you get to high school, there's not a lot of opportunities in Odessa, and I felt like cheer was just the one that really clicked for me and something I wanted to strive and be good at.
Just to kind of go into your little bit of experience at Odessa, what was high school cheerleading like for you there, and what do you think, looking back on, do you miss most?
It was definitely really fun. It allowed me to have, honestly, a lot more experiences that I took for granted. Looking back at it now, I wish I would have cherished all the times we cheered for basketball, and especially being at a college now where we don't have a football team, cheering those Friday night football games. Sometimes I wanted to get home and go to bed, but I wish I would have soaked in those moments a little bit longer, and especially cheering in a town that has such a tight community, you just really bond with those people.
And to kind of ask you a little bit more about your achievements, is there a favorite achievement that you have, and why?
I'll go high school. My favorite achievement was when I got All-State for tumbling. Like I said, that was one of those things that really clicked for me, and I wanted to work hard towards that. And so that finally felt like something all the years I put effort into, I got rewarded for that. So that's my high school one. College, I think just knowing I made it to the next level and I was able to work with a team to get any kind of recognition, any kind of award, that's a huge accomplishment within itself.
And to kind of ask you, you went to Nationals all 4 years of your high school experience. So what was maybe your best result as a team, and what do you remember from those times?
My freshman year, I remember that was absolutely terrifying, didn't know what to expect. Then as the years went on, I think just seeing how much we improved each year as a team was a reward within itself, and seeing that each time we got higher and higher in the placing rank.
I know this is something that Bree said in her interview. I just wanted to ask you about Tower of Terror and what type of bonding experience that is for the team, because that's a very Odessa cheer thing.
Yes. So it's the one ride where at the time my Coach Fagan, made us all go on. And for some of the ones that roller coasters and heights aren't a big fear, it was fun to just sit there and laugh. And as awful as this sounds, the ones that have a fear of roller coasters, it was kind of fun to bond and be in that vulnerable moment with them. And I think that was really fun.
And to kind of ask you, when did you know you would cheer at the next level, and was that something that you always wanted to do?
I don't think it really clicked for me until my junior year of high school, when I started having colleges reach out to me, and I think it was my junior year that Avila was really strong about wanting me on their team, and I went to one of their practices and just saw the difficulty of the skills, and knowing that I wasn't done yet and I wanted to be a better cheerleader and hit these skills that a lot of people can't do. And so I spent my senior year really working towards trying to put myself in a situation where I could succeed with that.
And something I wanted to ask you to kind of backtrack a little bit is, I bet you've had a lot of support throughout this, but I want to ask you about, Coach Thomas, because he's really influential with the cheerleaders, and I just want to ask you what his relationship with you meant to you.
So Coach Thomas was definitely a very impactful person towards me. I am one that I think to get better, I have to have this like harsh environment, and not saying he was mean towards anything or
It's that
towards
tough
anybody.
love.
Yes, and so I think that really just made me succeed in the weight room, and I didn't realize it at the time how much that would carry over into being a better athlete, especially in the cheer world where you're constantly lifting people up, and there's so many things I took for granted that I wanted to skip in that weight room because I didn't like the workout until I got into college and really stunting at that level too, and seeing what it takes to be a collegiate athlete, that I really had to apply and use a lot of his words.
And to kind of ask you, going into your first year at Drury, because you just finished up your senior year, but going into your first year, what was that kind of experience like, and how was the growth going from high school to college?
So my first year was absolutely terrifying. I remember the first time we sat down as a team over the summer, and we had 2 practices a day that equaled out to 8 hours long for a week straight. And I remember my college coach telling us, he goes, "This is when you're going to find out if you're made for it or not." And usually after this week is when everybody quits. And so I remember thinking right then and there, like, maybe I'm not made for this. And then, some of Coach T's words came in that you gotta be tough and stuff like that. No one's gonna feel bad for you. And I remember the first week, everyone was hitting these college skills so easily, and I felt like I was struggling with some of the basic skills that I did in high school, just working with so many different people and seeing how quick that I was able to realize I was behind and that I needed to catch up and put a lot of the extra work in. And it paid off, and I made MAT my freshman year, which was a huge accomplishment within itself.
And to kind of ask you, because this is something I just thought of here, when you were first going through that recruiting process, the coach at Drury was different than Tyler. Wasn't that true? Wasn't Tyler? It was a different coach recruiting you, and then when you came down there, Tyler ended up being your coach. And the reason I ask you that is because I just kind of want to ask you, what was that like meeting Tyler and growing a relationship with him?
So the first coach that was originally there that recruited me, Ashley Parnell, she was very sweet. She gave off this personality that made you feel so wanted within a team. And in the college world, having a fool is a big asset to a team, and she made me feel very valued for that. And so, although I didn't know Tyler a whole lot personally compared to others, as soon as he stepped into that coaching role, I didn't notice a difference. He took me in under his wing, made me feel so appreciated, made me work hard and teach me everything I know. With that question, I also just want to kind of take a moment to brag about Tyler because, a lot of people say that a coach can impact you a lot, and I feel like Tyler brought out new parts of me that I haven't found yet, and I didn't know what I was going into freshman year with a whole new experience and a whole new coach, lifestyle change, etc. And I was nervous about getting a new coach, but I don't think he could have done a better job. My freshman year, we got second in the nation, and that was his first year coaching. And that was when we were still D2. And not to mention that Drury is one of the third smallest schools in all of nationals with colleges. And that's a huge accomplishment and something that I'm very proud of. And then I think it takes a lot for a coach to be able to not only make you a better athlete, but make you a better person and help you with challenges inside of cheer and outside of cheer, and I just feel like he did all of that. Sophomore year, I got diagnosed with arthritis in both my knees, and I wasn't able to tumble successfully anymore. And so I had to work at getting better at stunning. And through that whole change, I was always going to Tyler and feeling like I don't know if I, like, how do I get better? How do I still give myself an opportunity to compete anymore? Or this is a new pain. What is this? And like he was able to help support me through all of that. And then he helped coach a small D2 team competing in a D1 division and was also successful with that. My freshman year, we were barely had full ups across the whole team. That was something we struggled with. And looking back at it now as a freshman, we were struggling with full ups. And as a senior, I'm watching new freshmen or new recruits come in, and they're already starting on working with prep level hand in hands, rewinds, extended hand in hands with this team, and just seeing how much he has made this program grow and the skills that we have and how much talented the kids coming in are getting. And I think it's also important for a coach to not only be able to help an athlete in the sport they're in, but also outside of that. And I think he has made Drury's cheer program grow as a whole. He has so much experience from cheering at MSU, Moorhead. He's a huge role model and leader in UCA, and we were able to use that to our advantage. And he has found a way to connect with every athlete to help them grow and find certain cues or corrections that clicks with each person, or knows how to work with each athlete. That, you know, we all come from different backgrounds and different experience levels, and has been able to work with us on all that and help us with not only getting better as an athlete within the sport, but also making us better individuals, making us better young adults. And he just really made me personally, like, really cherish cheer more, really want me to work harder for certain skills. And he had this good way of pushing you to make you want it, but not frustrated or burnt out. And I think that just says a lot about a person's personality or characteristics. And I'm very thankful that I had him as a college coach, because I can't imagine anything different or going a different way. And there's just so many good things that I can say about him. But
And to kind of talk about, you guys still go to nationals, so you've been to a total of 8 nationals over 8 years. And I just kind of want to ask you, what was that like competing with Drury?
Drury, it was definitely a whole new feeling. My freshman year, I would say, I was like, oh, I've done this the past 3-4 years. Like, it's going to feel no different. I felt so confident in everything that I was competing that year. And then unfortunately, I didn't compete my sophomore year. And then junior and senior year, just taking 1 year off felt like a whole new nerve that I didn't know I was going to face. And being there with a team that we all have the same goal and we all want it so bad, knowing that we all have this like killer mentality of we are going to do whatever it takes to complete this routine and give it everything we got. And so experiencing that with a group of people that you're vulnerable with is just a great feeling within itself.
And to kind of ask you, as you've gone on at Drury, what have you noticed you've really improved on? Where have you grown as a cheerleader?
As a cheerleader, I would say I have gotten a lot better at being selfish in good ways, which I think is a trait that can carry on in life. Even though you want everyone to kind of have a shot, you have to be selfish in the things you want and work hard for those things you want. Not everything is just going to be handed to you, and you got to work your butt off.
And to kind of I want to ask you, who's some of the teammates that you have close relationships with on the team, and what are some of your favorite memories competing and cheerleading with them?
From Drury, my teammates that I'm close to and have helped me get through it a lot, I would give so much grace to a lot of my upperclassmen that freshman year didn't know what I was doing and would constantly have to lean on those people. So I give credit to like Jaden Hyder, Trinity Morgan, and then obviously my best friend this year in college, well, all 4 years, Taryn, has stuck with me and carried me through cheer, has carried me through school. Not only is that a lot of time to spend with someone when cheer is an all year long sport, but she has all the same classes with me and still lives with me. So she has helped me a lot through this experience.
And you guys, I know you said you don't cheer football, but you guys cheer basketball and a lot of other things. So, what are those events, doing those mean to you at the collegiate level?
I would say some of the ones that I think is so unique about Drury is that even though we don't have a football team, it is such a small college that it still kind of provides that tight community like Odessa had. And so one of the unique things that we got to do was my freshman year, we got our first hockey team. And so we were able to cheer their first hockey game, and that's continued to now be a trend that has carried on, that every first home hockey game we get to cheer that. A lot of the basketball games are fun. I feel like at the collegiate level you can do so much more and have fun and perform still these crazy skills, and it's just a different environment that provides a lot of fun.
And I know you guys just got back recently. I say recently, but it's been a little bit now. You guys competed recently in nationals, and I kind of want to just ask you about, this was your last go-around, so what was that experience like? And just take me through that a little bit.
It was definitely tough. I remember getting off of the mat and instantly just crying because I knew that was my last time. And the past 2 years have been a lot harder because Drury is a D2 school, and there were some changes made within UCA that we started competing in the D1 category, and that provided us with a lot more challenges than a normal team faces. And this year especially, competing in D1, we didn't have as many boys, we couldn't max out. We faced a lot more challenges this year of individuals getting hurt, getting taken out, putting back in. And I think the best part is, with even all those changes, we were still able to compete a routine we were proud of. And game day and traditional, Tyler has a thing where he likes to create a new skill every year. And so this year we did a rotisserie chicken that a lot of people haven't seen before. And game day, it was just such a fun routine with a whole bunch of individuals that you just kind of get to spirit a whole lot, yell a whole bunch, and show our pride for Drury University.
And 7th out of 21 ain't too bad, for sure.
That's 1/3 of the group, and I mean, even in traditional, we placed top out of all the D2 teams.
So, I mean, that's definitely a huge accomplishment to you guys for sure. And I know you still get to cheer a little bit more. You're still going to do your thing for a little bit longer. But what do you think you're going to miss most about cheering at Drury as you move forward?
I definitely think I'm going to miss seeing my friends every day and seeing my coaches that have impacted who I am so much. As much as you want to dread going to practices, sometimes you take for granted until that's taken away. And I think I'm just going to miss that daily part of my life.
One fun question I like asking is, what piece of advice would you give to somebody starting cheerleading, whether that be high school, tumbling, or even college level? What would be a piece of advice you'd give them?
To soak in every moment. When something doesn't go your way, don't give up. Make that motivation to keep getting better. Strive for those skills that others have that you want to get. There's no such thing as doing too much.
And just to kind of ask you, I know you're graduating Drury at the end of May, but what's kind of up next for you? What do you have planned, and how do you plan on keeping up with the sport of cheerleading?
So after I graduate in May, I plan on applying to a few dental schools and seeing where that takes me. I would like to keep up with cheerleading. I'm always going to constantly watch it when I get the chance. I would love to go back to Drury, support them in any way I can, help Odessa with anything that I can, whether that's helping with fundraisers and just going there and watching them do their thing.
Well, that's all I have for you, Samara. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
That I have watched Odessa High School cheer compete at nationals this year and see that they made it to finals for the first time since 2016. And I am so proud to say that I came from that program and how much they have improved over the few years that I haven't been there. And it's just crazy to be able to watch them do their thing.
With that being said, thank you guys so much. This has been our guest interview with Samara Sims.